thought I would try the first Junk Journal January challenge, which is resolution. I have already prepared the background because I haven't learned to edit. I don't even think I will have time to edit if I'm going to upload a video. It's going to have to be fairly simple. I just used an old store card to scrape on some paint there. I really love using an old gift card or store card. But first of all, the paint doesn't go into the spine. You can control it in that way, just by scraping it like that. You get a very thin layer. It's almost dry by the time you get it finished. And actually you can, if there's still excess paint there, you can scrape it back into the bottle. I was using just a craft paint, and you can unscrew the top of the bottle and put it back in again. And of course you can wipe it with a tissue or not. And no paintbrushes to wash or anything afterwards. So I really like doing that. Now this is really I know I'm going to find this difficult, because normally when I do a page in my art journal, it's well thought out. I'm probably thinking about it for a number of weeks. I'm doing a series of 6 pages, one after another at the minute, and I just come and go from it and think about colours and add the writing. And so I'm going to try and make a new resolution. So the word is resolution. I was in Sainsbury's yesterday, and they have all of their Christmas gift tags reduced to 45p. So I took one of these ones, cut it down and flipped it over, so it's like that on the back. Flipped it over. I covered it with some jelly printed rice paper from another project. I had printed a lot of rice paper on the jelly plate, because this is something I've wanted to do. It's a little baby board book. I can't remember the artist I saw doing it. So this is a kind of, this is waiting for some art journaling. Not sure what I'm going to do with that, but these are all the leftover pieces. And actually when I was in Sainsbury's yesterday, they had 3 rolls of lovely washi tape. I'm just going to try and see if I can put them together for you. It was marked £1, but when I went to check out, they were 60p. So very nice colours. There was one of them, another set, but they had Christmas words on it, so I just went for the one that I could use. And it was actually this tape here, as I was admiring my purchase, that made me think of something that I've never done, or I don't think I've ever seen it before, but you never know. Sometimes these things lodge unconsciously in your mind. But it's using all these leftover pieces of rice paper, and I actually was going to chuck them out, because I thought, well, what can you do with these? So I'm actually going to try, I don't know how successful this will be, try and use them as mark making on the page. And I looked up the word resolution in the dictionary, and this is something that always puts me off New Year's resolutions, because people make resolutions and then they don't keep them, or they just set them aside. But the word itself means a firm determination to do something or follow a course of action. So it's not a resolution if it can be easily set aside. That's my humble opinion anyway. So I'm hoping to use that as well, probably in the horizontal orientation is the word I'm looking for. And really my resolution is to keep it simple, and I suppose this is why I have tried at least this first challenge from Junk Journal January, is because I put a lot of thought into each page. I do, generally speaking, I do a lot of backgrounds. if I see a background or think of an idea, I do it. So there's a lot of backgrounds in my art journal. So when I think of something to write, I'm not really a person to offload my brain, because I sort of think, well, I don't really want everybody to maybe in the future read these things. So I try to do things that have inspired me rather than journaling about what's inside, things that inspire me and encourage me. So that's what my normal process. So my resolution, I think, would be to keep it simple. So I often offload or take ghost prints on book pages from when I'm doing jelly printing. So this is actually Mansfield Park by Jane Austen, which is one of my favourite authors. And I just thought if I could somehow write the words keep it simple there. So I'm going to get started. I'm going to try and do it as quickly as possible. Keep it simple. So I'm just going to put a little bit of this, you know, when you find a bargain and you're sitting admiring it, you like to use it quite quickly, don't you? You mightn't use it all, but I'm just going to try and put this behind the little tag. So I have a minute or two to place that. Again, I'm trying to keep it simple. I normally would write this out and make sure I was happy with it, but I'm trying to keep it simple. And sometimes orientating the text sideways makes it quite interesting. So like Meg, is it Meg Journals, who is hosting this, I use Print Stick. So my idea was, and I don't know the best way to do this, but my idea was to make with the rice paper. So that's what those little marks on the washi tape made me think of. When I think of mark making in art journals, the one artist I do think about, not just because she has Irish origins, but she's a great mark maker. She is an artist, I think she's in Tasmania in Australia, she's definitely Australian, is Niamh Bally, and she's very good with her Posca pen mark making. So I'm trying to follow her. I'm just ripping it here just to make it look interesting. Okay, so I'm going to follow that up with, I'm just sticking it. I've been thinking of, yeah, I'm trying to keep it simple, but I still have thought through, now how do I do this? Do I put glue on the whole strip and then rip it? So I'm doing it this way. Maybe the next time I do it, if I ever do it again, I'll think, no, there's a better way of doing this. But it is quite thin paper, which makes it very easy to glue, but also quite fiddly. So this is me trying to mark make. I wonder, should I stick that down? I might go back off screen and glue edges down and everything, but for now, this is what, yeah, it needs a stronger glue there. I might just do that in a moment or two. I also have some thin little strips which are going to be trickier. So maybe I should just glue all of that. Yeah, who said this was keeping it simple? sorry, I don't really talk very much when I'm concentrating on something. So a lot of these little strips, you know, whenever you're printing on a jelly plate, at least I prefer using a piece of paper that's slightly bigger than the jelly plate. I know some people like to get their fingers all in the paint at the edges. Personally speaking, I don't like to do that. So if I find afterwards, what I find afterwards, sorry, I'm forgetting what I'm trying to say. What I find afterwards is you have to rip off, if you're going to adhere to a page like this little board book, you're going to have to rip off the white border. Like this is a jelly printed book page, so that's been ripped off. So I'm going to maybe go for bigger pieces this time. This is actually not rice paper. I'm going to go right in to the spine there. I'm just gluing the bit I need at this for this, and I'm making these ones all kind of the same size. All those bits that you pull off because they're not complete, or there's a lot of, they're not the pattern that you were trying to achieve, actually look quite nice as marks. And even this piece, like, it doesn't have a lot of paint on it, but I might just make it a smaller one. I have never done this before, so I'm really sorry if this is not very professional, because and one of my favourite junk journalers is Pam at the Paper Outpost, but she is the queen of doing things that she's never done before without a second thought, and make a video at the same time. I know she's a very experienced YouTuber, but I don't know. My background is not just like that. I would have to be prepared in some way to make sure it actually worked. So this is not my normal way of working. It looks very untidy at the minute, in my humble opinion. You know, maybe if I was doing this in my normal way, I wouldn't have stuck this down. I might have decided to do a bit of stenciling. I might still do some mark making over the top just to help unify each separate piece. I'm making a mess of the top of my glue stick. Right, I feel as if this is just like an add-on, so I might do some, I've done a lot of horizontals. Might do some verticals. This is not ripping very well. I don't know if you can see that pattern there, but that very interesting pattern. It was achieved by a stiff roll. It wasn't a kitchen paper roll or a toilet roll, because that would have been too flimsy. It was, I'm not sure what it was. It was something some of the family got at Christmas time. Very, very stiff roll, thinner than a kitchen paper roll. I don't have it to show you because I took it to use in another setting. But rubber bands around it, and it makes a very interesting. So I'm glad that didn't stick down actually, because now we've got a situation where we can tuck things underneath. It makes very interesting negative prints, and then positive ghost prints. You're left with a nice pattern. Now I feel as if there's something needed in the middle there. I've nearly used up all these scraps. This is I have a lot of poetry pages, photocopied poetry pages that are given out to school children for handwriting competitions and things. So I have a lot of those leftover pages, and I sometimes print on them. So that's the offcut of that. It's not very. So the actual jelly print is on a poem, so I have used that. Maybe take a moment to show that to you before I. It's another journal I'm making at the minute. But there's one of them there, a bit of the poetry page there, more of it there, more of it there. So they're actually kids' poems. The Duck's Ditty, if any of you know that poem. So it makes for interesting jelly prints. So that's just a wee offcut from that. So I'm going to try and stick this down now. Whoops. I've bent this quite a bit, so hopefully it will look okay. So I'm going to leave it at that. I probably will try to unify. Well, I have to write keep it simple first of all. I'll probably try and unify some of the individual elements by a bit of mark making. Maybe I'll be brave here and do it on screen. I'm pretty new to this. Well, I'm not new to video making. During COVID, I was making videos all of the time. You can see that was my first attempt, and realised I wasn't going to get firm determination in at that size, so I flipped it over. I've got glue on it now, so well done for that. So no, during COVID I did learn to make videos, but just the type of videos I was making, I was really super prepared for them. I knew what I was talking about. I had all the materials right. Maybe art videos are very different. Anything can spring into your mind. I'm actually going to put a wee bit of glue there. just to keep the strings from being annoying. So I'm just going to try my own handwriting. Well, that's not my, normal handwriting. It's my art journal handwriting. I don't write like that in real life. Keep it simple. I'm going to put a line underneath because I've written it quite high up. So it does need some unification to bring the elements together to give, and this is maybe one way you could do it with little dots, Posca pens, dots and dashes, not Morse code, just art. I think I moved my book a bit. There's something about continuing a particular type of mark across your page over different elements that cause an element of unity. Trying not to put your hand into it. This is a 7mm Posca pen. I would use that for a lot of this type of writing. The bigger Posca pen is good for setting something out, but then if you're like this piece of writing here, I would set it out with the big pen, and then the smaller pen I'd go over it and put the little triangles in. So that's another style. That's kind of the style I was using there. For some reason I've never been able to get a very good white Posca pen. I don't know. I watch people and I see they have got, the right really well. Even that's not working too well. So I'm going to just leave it at that, but you can, well, that's working not too bad now. And that's very similar to, this is probably what appealed to me about the tape. Maybe I haven't shaken it well enough, is that what it is? So that's probably what I would maybe continue doing there. Just to give some unity. I see I have messed up the black. Maybe take that off and then start again. Because if you stop here, then you're not given that unity. You probably could go for this Posca again when it's dry. But I don't know about other people. But I tend to come back and forward. Like this will not be finished just now. I tend to come back, look at it another day and think, oh, that would be nice to do that there. I never would say a page is finished. There's just other things that you can do. I think that's, for me, the beauty of art journaling. So this is number 1. It's a bit late, I know, but I do give things a little bit of thought. I'm not a Pam at the paper outpost where just sit down. That's quite a messy page for me, but I'm going to try and keep it simple. Thank you for watching.